So we just got finished watching those two really incredible jump-off rounds, and that might give us something to aspire to. And so we're going to now work on some exercises to help you in the smoothness in your riding, and also be a better rider against the clock, a speed rider, if you will. And these are just some very simple exercises that we can use to try to perfect your speed riding and to make your riding as efficient and smooth as possible. So we're going to watch now Skylar. She's riding her fabulous horse Crunch K, who she's newly acquired to ride. She got the ride on this horse, and so we're gonna do some demonstration with this wonderful horse. And we're going to start off by a line here that I've set on the side of the ring. I always like to do a very simple line in a lot of my exercises, because even though it's simple, you can really be really precise with what you want to do in this line. It's not difficult, it's not complicated, and you can really work on perfecting your riding. So we've got a nice, it's a little bit of a roomy 6 strides. It's a little bit open 6 strides. Maybe you might call it a hunter 6. But we're going to start off by doing it in 7. And I think that it's always a really good exercise with horses to do lines where you actually do one more stride, or ride in with a little bit of collection, rather than always trying to ride forward and leave a stride out. So we're going to start with Skylar going up and down this line. She's going to start on the right lead. She's going to do 7 quiet strides, vertical to oxer, and then she's going to make a little U-turn up here in the corner, and she's going to go back down the line in 7 strides, just working on making sure the horse is polite and organized for her. So she starts off with a nice rhythm, little bit of an open rhythm, and then she puts the horse together and gets ready for the organized 7 strides. You see, it's a little bit under pace, but the horse, you're working on the horse being polite and waiting for you, that he's not rushing, he's not charging. He makes really gorgeous jumps. This is a fantastic jumping horse. And Skylar can really work on her smoothness, her position. Again, you see here she opens the canter. This is a realistic canter for jumping the course, but then she puts him together and gets tall with her body. And as she's collecting the horse, you see she lands on the outside lead in the line, and she slightly bends the horse to the outside. It's always important when you're collecting the canter that you ride the bend of the lead that you're on. Very important with that. So now we've seen her do that in 6. Now we're going to do the same line, and we're going to do it in 7. And the difference is going to be she's going to start off with the same canter. Back over here on this part of the course, she's going to start with the same canter, and then instead of coming out of the turn to the jump and collecting the stride, she's going to maintain on that same rhythm. It's not going to be much different, just that same rhythm. Try to find a little bit of an open distance to the vertical coming in, and then just allow the horse down the line, and she can do it almost the same. It'll be very smooth in 6. She'll make a U-turn and then come back down the line in 6 again. So you see here she's going to start out with her ideal canter. It's the same sort of open canter that she did before, but instead of boxing it up, she's just going to maintain on that canter stride and just roll to the jump. And you can see how how easily it was for her to get in there in 6 strides. No big deal. So now we're going to go back the other way in 6 strides. She's just going to maintain this nice open canter, allow the horse to jump across the oxer, and you see how the 6 is so smooth and easy for her to do it that way. She's done it now collected in 7, where she started off getting the horse to be smooth, getting the horse to be polite, and then once she did that first, it shows you how easy it is for her to do the line in 6. Really, really, really good. So now the next exercise we're going to do, and this sort of ties into what we saw in our fast videos, are doing a line and then doing a very short turn like McLean did, like Marcus Enning did, a very short turn after the line. And that's always, it's one thing to turn to a jump, but to do a turn after a line is more difficult. So we're going to practice with this very quiet 7 and then practice a rollback turn. And once we've perfected that and cleaned up the rollback turn, then we're going to do it off of one less stride. We're going to do 6 strides to the rollback turn. But we're going to start the first time doing it in 7 and then a neat rollback turn to the vertical. So again, she comes in with a little bit of pace, then she collects the horse coming out of the turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then she looks for the next jump. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Jumps it, and then we're just going to practice to the walk. So there we've done it once now nicely. She did the quiet 7 strides. For this horse who's a really big horse, the 7 is very short 7 for her. That's actually harder to do 7 than 6. But we're going to it's always important to have that ability to do one more and one less. So we did the quiet 7 and we did 9 strides on the turn. We saw with McLean and with Marcus Enning on some of those turns where they did 7 going around a corner or 8 going around a corner. Now she's done 9. We're going to ask her to do the same 7 strides, and then we're going to ask her to neaten up that turn a little bit. Not with getting rough, but just trying to ride through the turn smoothly, using her eyes in both reins to bring the horse around. She's going to still stay tall with her body, keep her body upright, and she's going to look in with her eyes. As she's jumping the red oxer, she's going to be thinking about this vertical and make a nice, smooth, even turn. Okay, you can just go for 1, you can do 8 or even set, whatever. I wouldn't go crazy. Don't go fast, just make it efficient and smooth. So now again, we pick up the canter. We have a nice forward canter. As she comes out of the turn, she's going to collect the canter to get there a little bit slow and deep to the first vertical. Collected tall. That's a super distance for this. And then here she gets ready and looks. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we walk again. So that was a great example of how she looks with her eye. She keeps the horse moving. She's not breaking the rhythm up. She's trying to ride the same canter stride, the same canter rhythm through the turn, and just allows the horse to find the next jump just by guiding him. That's very well done. Great exercise to practice. We're jumping it now at 3'6" and 4 feet. You can do this at 2'6" if you want, just to practice it, to be comfortable doing it, and just practice counting those strides on the turn, and use your eye to just lead the horse through it. Do it low, and then you can gradually make it bigger. So now we've done it that way. Now we're going to do 6 strides in the red line. So we're going to add a little difficulty factor where she's going to roll on a little bit and have a little bit more forward momentum. And that's going to make the turn after a little bit harder. But hopefully that we've trained the horse well enough to be smooth through the turn that she can do a nice smooth 6, little bit open stride, and then still ride that 7 strides on the turn. So we're going to give that a shot. So again, here she starts, same thing, same rhythm, nice open canter. She just doesn't collect the horse out of the turn. She continues with the horse. Catches a nice vertical. Nice smooth 6, then looks. And because she's practiced it now, the horse has learned with her aids and with her body to look for the next jump. This time was actually the easiest because he was so well schooled on making that nice round turn. And if you practice this at home, then it's not the first time you do it at the horse show in the jump off. And you don't have to be crazy doing this to practice this exercise. You can always do it a little bit slower at first. Practice it in control, practice it with smoothness, and then eventually you can start to pick it up a little bit, and without telling the horse she's doing one less stride, and it's effortless. So that's a really great exercise to do to practice your smooth riding, smooth turns, and being very efficient and actually in the end quite fast. So the next exercise that we're going to do is going to practice angling and slicing jumps, also practice the control of the jump so that when you're coming in on an angle, you can hold the jump straight. This is very helpful for a jump off, and also helpful sort of in whether you're riding cross country and eventing, or you're doing equitation. If you need to angle a jump, this is a good exercise to practice. We're going to do this on a figure 8. We have a Swedish oxer, so it's going to keep the horse and the rider right in the center of the jump. And we're going to figure 8 this jump. We're going to do it one time with a little bit of a roomy turn to it, and one time with a little bit of an angled turn. And again, I like to do everything evenly, one from the right, one from the left. So we're going to start off from the right, and Skylar's going to make a figure 8 over this Swedish oxer here, and we're going to jump it one right, one left, one right, one left. Because we're practicing this in the beginning and at home, we do this out of a sort of a nice normal canter. Not a fast canter, just a nice normal powerful canter. You see this time she makes a nice sort of approach to this jump. Then she's going to slip inside that jump over there, maintaining her canter rhythm. This is all very simple, but a really good exercise to practice. And she's going to look for the jump from the left lead. This is again a little bit of a straighter approach to it. And then she dips inside after. You're covering all these different jump turn exercises without it being fast and crazy. We're just practicing track and line. She can hold the horse with the inside rein off the ground and then allow the horse to turn. Now she's going to come on a little bit steeper angle. Super. And you can see how just by doing this exercise, you're teaching the horse how to jump and turn to a jump, turn after a jump, and all the time she's maintaining his rhythm to be smooth and even. If there's ever a moment where the horse gets quick, back to the walk, organize the horse, then pick it up again and start repeating. This horse did this very well. If you have problems, you can do it a couple more times. You can also make this bigger, where you can raise the fence 3 holes and do the same thing over the same jump 3 holes bigger. And again, this jump right now is probably 3'9", but you can also make it 2'6" and do the same nice smooth exercise. It's also a really good exercise to do to teach your eye how to work. You practice coming to the jump off of a little bit of an angle, a little bit of a turn. It really helps the eye work better. So, and with this jump, I like to actually do it over a Swedish oxer because it actually encourages the horse and rider to ride right to the center of the jump. And I think that's really important. When we're jumping straight jumps, I use those guide poles, those chutes, to keep the horse straight. But when we're practicing angling the jump, I really like to do it over a Swedish oxer because then the horse and the rider stays right in the center of the jump, which you can't really do with guide poles when you're angling it so much. So this is a really good jump to use for this kind of an exercise. So the last exercise that we're going to do in this session is we have a bending line. I always like to practice, we've done a lot of straight line exercises, but sometimes we have bending lines. So I've set up here, we have an oxer out of the turn, we have a bending 5 to a bending 4. And this, now that we've done the oxer and the Swedish oxer in the middle, Skylar's practice sort of coming on one lead and leading on another, leaving on another. So now we can practice this in a line. And 3 jumps in a line, if you have space in your ring, that is a wonderful exercise. If you can do it on a straight line, 5 to 4, 5 to 5, or 6 to 6, even if you have that. I like to mix up the numbers, 3 to a 7, 3 to a 6. But in this ring, we're going to do a nice curving 5 to the Swedish, and then a nice 4 strides to the vertical. And we're going to come from both leads so that we again mix it up. So she's able to come from the right lead and then she can do the same line from the left lead. We're going to do that once from each lead. And then for this horse, we're going to make it a little bit big so that he has to actually really jump. And we'll see how that relates to her having done it already once before. I always like to start at one height and then work up to the height that's appropriate for that horse. So she's going to start off with, again, a little bit of a power powerful canter, organize a big forward canter. Then she's going to organize it before she comes out of the turn and then come with the appropriate canter. Keep thinking about following with the hand, not lifting him, but just guiding him. And we're going to repeat that one. She's going to start with a little bit of extra canter, then organize the canter, then ride to the first jump. We'll watch her eyes, looking from one to the next. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. We try to always work on center to center. Now she's going to canter down the long side, get the horse a little bit supple in his mouth, get him a little organized, have a nice powerful canter. Then she's going to go into this corner and collect him a little bit because this is a tight turn. Organize and then come out of the turn. Eyes. And eyes again. Super. Holding him straight on the landing. Nice, smooth 5 to a 4. Okay, so now we've done this line from each lead at a sort of a reasonable height. Now we've gone up 3 and made it a little bit more real for this horse, what this horse is going to be competing over. So we're going to repeat it again now, trying to ride it exactly the same way. Even though it's bigger, she shouldn't need to ride it almost any different. The position should stay the same, the hands should stay the same, still hands, not holding the horse off the ground, just a nice guiding hand, thinking about her eye level, her position as she's riding this, making this as nice as possible. So once again, whenever you start an exercise a little over the pace, a little forward, then collect the canter, organize the canter, then ride the exercise. Super. Absolutely super. He touched the back pole of the Swedish, but we're not going to worry about that. This horse is very careful jumper, so just a little touch like that is educational for him. Now she's going to come from the left lead. You can see she connects her seat down in the saddle out of the turn. That gives her power to keep the horse in front. A little leg. Very, very, very good. So we're really just exercising this horse, getting this horse to use its body. It's a really good practice to work on track with this horse. You can see the more he does it, the better it gets. He follows her, he knows where he's going, and this teaches the horse to listen to the rider and do everything that the rider asks. And we try to make it as simple as possible, and it just gets better and better. So this is another great exercise that you can do at home. And you can practice like a little bit of a gentle S turn. You can make it any different number strides that you want. Try not to make the line too long. This is a nice 5 to a nice 4. It's difficult enough just because of the size of it and the track. But if you practice this, you're going to teach your horses how to do bending lines. I want you to work on, once you've done it once, sometimes the horse is a little lost the first time, but once you've done it once and they start to learn it, then you can start to clean it up. You can start to polish your position. You can start to polish the smoothness and the evenness of the pace, making sure that the horse stays at the same rhythm the whole way through it. And again, that's one of the reasons why I love to do 3 jump lines where you have 3 jumps in a row, not just a line one to the next, because it really makes the horse have to stay at a good, even, smooth rhythm. If it gets quick, then the 3rd jump is inevitably a disaster because you're going too fast. So this teaches you and your horse how to stay on a rhythm, nice, even rhythm. And it's a great exercise that you can do at home, in your rings at home, depending on the size of the ring, how you can make it work, but you can tailor that to you and your horse. And you can do this at any height. You can do this at a very low height, and you can do it at a very high height.